This is Corridor Pac-Man. Now, I know you might be saying that you recognise the name Corridor as a game that already exists, and you'd be right. This is it here. Well, the mini version of it, of course. Now, of course, this game has been around for quite some time. For those of you that don't know, it's a 2 or 4 player abstract strategy game where you're attempting to get across the board by either moving a pawn or placing a wall to try and block your opponent. And Corridor Pac-Man is something of similar vein because you can play that exact same game with this set. For example, I could play it exactly the same, one player playing as Pac-Man as one player is playing as a ghost. And we both get 10 walls apiece to try and block the other out. But this one comes with a brand new special Pac-Man variant. Okay guys, so how to play Pac-Man Corridor? Well, first off, let's do a little bit of a comparison. In front of me, at the moment, we have a 2-player setup of normal Corridor. So to understand how Corridor works, it's very, very simple indeed. On your turn, you get to move your pawn 1 space in any direction. Orthogonally, you cannot move diagonally. Or you can place 1 wall piece. You start the game with 10 of these, and the objective for these is to block your opponent from being able to move. The only rules really with regards to placements of these is there always has to be a way for them to cross the board. That's the aim of the game, is to be the first person to cross from one side of the board to the other. If you manage to do that, you are declared the winner. Once you've run out of wall pieces, all you can do is just move 1 space per turn. It's a race to the finish. And that is base game of Corridor. So let's just move this out of the way and bring in Corridor Pac-Man. Now, Corridor Pac-Man has the special variant actually has a separate setup, which is listed in the very back of the book here, as you can see. Now, let's get this set up very quickly, because the setup for this is the same in every single game that you will have of Corridor Pac-Man. Now, that in itself is an interesting change, I guess. I believe that's us all set out. Right, okay, so there we go. That is the basic setup for Corridor Pac-Man. Pac-Man always starts in the middle, and this is how the game is played. If you are playing as the Pac-Man character, you can move 2 spaces every single turn. Again, no diagonal movement. So, Pac-Man's turn, he's going to move 1, 2. His objective is to consume all 4 of these pellets before he runs out of lives. He starts the game with 3 life tokens, which we have here. And that's basically it for Pac-Man. He has the standard 2 movement. If at any point he does consume 1 of these food pellets, his movement does stop there. But once he's consumed it, he immediately moves up to 3 spaces in any direction. So let's say, for example, he's going to move 1, 2, 3. He's moved there. If at any point he goes through or lands on a ghost, the ghost is eaten and removed from the board. That is Pac-Man. Now, the ghosts. After Pac-Man has done his turn, the ghosts all move 1 space. Okay, so let's move this one here, this one here, this one here. And oh dear, we have a collision here. The ghost has landed on Pac-Man. Pac-Man has been caught and he loses 1 of his lives. The board is then completely reset to how it was, including these ones that have been taken off the board by Pac-Man. They then return to the board and play continues. The ultimate winner is the ghosts win if Pac-Man loses all of his lives, and Pac-Man wins if he manages to consume all 4 of the pellets. And that is literally the whole game. Okay guys, so the components really of this version of the game. Let's bring in the mini version of the original Corridor very quickly here. Now obviously the original version of Corridor was this sort of size and the same sort of quality, but the mini version is what we have here on display. Now, first thing to note is obviously the new coloration that we have with regards to the Pac-Man. You've got that nice dark blue with the contrasting black base, really making the characters themselves pop. Now, let's stick with the characters because these are all wooden pieces, and as I'm sure you can see, I'm hoping it's picking it up on the camera, they are incredibly well picked out with the paint on there. Pac-Man is exceptionally nice as well, as you can see. They're all very, very good quality, but I particularly love these wall pieces with that sort of black side and then the bright blue on the top. It really makes this game pop lovely. It makes me feel like I'm in an old school arcade, if you know what I mean. Now, obviously, the original was very much like this. You had that sort of one colour for the baseboard and then the second colour for the wood pieces, and then your two-player pawns with different colours as well. Now, they're all very, very good quality. These are great quality. This is great quality. It's all wooden. That is fantastic. They could have easily gone with plastic for these and made it sort of feel really very cheap, but they haven't. Everything in this is wooden, which is great. I love the components in this. Comes with a nice box organizer as well, a nice branded one at that, which also looks fantastic in the box. I'm just going to lean over and get the box. Obviously, with the box, you get the characters showing through here, so it looks really good on the shelf. If you've seen any of the other videos that I've done on the channel, it's actually been displayed to the side of me on one of my stands. It's that prominent in my collection. But there you go. That is the components, I guess. There isn't much else that I can say about this other than I'm actually very, very impressed. I don't really think there's any ways that they could have made any additions or anything like that to the game. But there you go. That is the components, and we'll come out of the top-down camera and give you my final thoughts. So how do I feel about Quoridor Pac-Man? Well, to be honest with you, what I find hilarious is when I first played the original Quoridor, it was actually the full-size board, much like this one. But when I first played it, I immediately said, "Is that this feels like a game of Pac-Man to a degree, and could easily be rethemed as a game of Pac-Man." And here we are. We now have that themed version, but it's not just a reskin of an old game. It is, in fact, a whole new variant of the game. Now, truth be told, I will say I have some reservations with regards to the replayability of this game, because this is the setup that it specifies for the special Pac-Man variant. And to be honest, it's a bit samey every single time. I know it says you can play it up to 5 players, but that is basically one player playing as Pac-Man and then every other player being a ghost. The second Pac-Man manages to kill off that ghost, that's a player out of the game. I hate player elimination. That's not great. And obviously that player is out of the game until someone manages to get Pac-Man off the board and makes the game reset. So that's always a bit of a concern for me. But the real big concern is, of course, that replayability factor. You know, there's enough of these walls in that pack where we could maybe change these around. Maybe we could install some house rules where, let me just grab some of these, where every ghost player is given 3 walls, and on their turns, like, they can move, or they can maybe summon a brand new wall, which makes it even harder for Pac-Man to get to those balls. You know, the feeding balls and stuff like that. It would just change the gameplay quite considerably. Whether it would make it too difficult for Pac-Man, I don't know. Be interesting to try it, but they are my concerns really when it comes to the replayability factor of this game. That being said, though, I really enjoy standard Quoridor Pac-Man, and I'll be honest with you, this is not my copy of the game, but this is. So, am I upset that I bought this one and paid a little bit extra? Not particularly, because I can do that Pac-Man variant whenever I so wish. However, I think this is probably going to see my table a bit more as the normal, the normal Quoridor variant, with occasionally playing the actual Pac-Man special variant. So who is this game for? Right, so first question, if you own the original Quoridor, should you buy Pac-Man version? Really depends on how much you like Pac-Man and whether you are really interested in that Pac-Man variant. You've seen it by now in the video. It's up to you to make up your own mind whether you think it's worth the extra money. I think it's about an extra £10 per box, compared to the original of the same size. If you're happy enough just with the original and you think you're going to be preferring that gameplay, go straight on. Yeah, keep that version. You don't need this one as well. I think the components in this are ace. I think they've done an exceptional job at crafting the Pac-Man, characters, as you will, in this game, and that's really, really cool. I think that's worth the extra money alone. But then again, I'm sad I grew up with this stuff, so of course I'm gonna love it. The price is a bit touch and go for me. Now, I've seen it advertised in lots of different places at this point. I paid £30 for this when I got this at the UK Games Expo. However, that same weekend, the game fluctuated on the exact same stand between 30 and 38 on one of the days. So this game is going to have a price point all over the place. You can get this at a decent price. I'd say 30 quid's pretty good because the quality is fantastic. Everything in this is wooden. There's no plastic other than the box insert that it comes with, which I will say is a really good box insert. Well done on that one. The box itself is pretty good. So it looks lovely on my shelves. I've actually had it on my stand over here. As you can see, it's currently got a big gap in it, and that's because that's where this game sits, because it looks good. People have commented on it whenever they've come round and seen it in the studio. They really like the look of this game. So I think that alone makes it worth it. So that is Pac-Man Quoridor. What did you think, guys? Is this a game that you're interested in? Is it a game that you've played? Let me know down in that comments section below. Have I missed anything? Is there something that you do? Is there a house rule that you have done to make the replay value of this game even better? Let me know. That's what the comment sections are for. If you have enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't enjoyed it, give it a thumbs down. That tells me that I'm doing something wrong. So that gives me something I can work on. Of course, if you do enjoy what we do here, give us a subscribe. We are trying to grow this channel a lot this year. Really great being back. My name has been Jason. You have been watching the Meeple Minded YouTube channel, and I will see you on the next one.